Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone this morning? So good, I hope. Now you're ready to paint some flowers? I sure am. Everybody make sure you have a big drink. We gotta stay hydrated. If you are brand new here, if you would... Hey, Cammie, if you would follow and like and subscribe to Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Corbiere-Scott. So today we are playing with the art printable that I created for the Midwest paper crafting shop hop, and it's called Midwest is Best, and I think so because I'm a Midwest girl. Anyway, here are the posies that I drew for the 3 states that are taking part in the Midwest paper crafting shop hop. Today is the last day of the shop hop, and so today is the last day to use the promo code Midwest, all one word, all caps. So we have carnation, which is the state flower for Ohio. We have apple blossom, which is the state flower for Michigan. And we have peony, which is the state flower for Indiana. And then I have greetings from Ohio, greetings from Indiana, greetings from Michigan. So even if you are not from any of these states, you can absolutely use these flowers for creating something else. And that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to take my scissor and I'm going to cut the flowers out and just start painting. I saw this idea on Stamp Junkies this morning and I was like, oh, I could do something with that. So I'm going to pick a flower. Let's pick the peony. And then I'm going to pick a embossed background. So I have 2 embossed backgrounds that I did this morning. So I have this one that's circles, and what's the name of this one? Swiss cheese. And it is by Sizzix, and it's a 3D. So look at it, is deep impressions, beautiful. And this one is called Folk Doodle, right? And here's that one. Again, beautiful. And I did these both on watercolor paper. So what I saw this morning was it was quite a monochromatic card, right? It was all most of the parts and pieces of this card were all created in the same color. So, but I wanted to use a couple of colors because, well, why not? I have Abandoned Coral and the brand new color Saltwater Taffy, which is a nice light corally peachy color. So it's a perfect pairing with this one. And then I will use the peeled paint for my foliage. Good morning, Renee. How are you? Good morning, Jennifer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create my background and my flower using the Abandoned Coral and Saltwater Taffy. So I'm going to use these 2 Distress inks as my paint, right? So I'm just going to get some Distress ink down there, spritz it, and then get my brush. And I'm just going to start little by little applying bits of color, right? So we're going to start with a watery wash as always. Oh, nice, Renee. Awesome. Have you been reading our newest book for book club? It's really good. I am loving it. Okay, so I'm gonna, there's just my watery wash of saltwater taffy, and I want to do these little bobs here. I'm just kind of feeling it. Good morning, Jennifer. So, like I said, today's the last day to use the Midwest is best. To use the Midwest promo code for this art printable, Midwest is best. It will expire at midnight and then it goes to full price. Okay, so I'm digging that, but I'm feeling like I want to do, maybe while that's still a little bit wet, I'm going to come in with some of my abandoned coral. And let's start deepening. And this is still way wet on wet. I'm digging that. And I'm just really here we go. Just little by little, starting to build my form, right? Good morning, Vicky Dooley. I love your flamingos. I love your flamingos. They made me giggle first thing this morning. And that's always a nice way to start the day, isn't it? So I'm going to dry this layer. See where I'm going. Now I want to build that a little bit more. That's so cool, Vicky. That's so cool. And you said your Girl Scout troop did it. That's amazing. What a great fundraiser, right? What a great fundraiser. I'm going to blend it with the spun sugar. I'm digging that. There we go. Holy tamale, you had to turn the heater on. Yikes. You wouldn't if you were at my house, that's for dang sure. It is hot as Hades. Okay, let's dry this. I have this little bit of ink here, so you know what I want to do. Just gonna take a piece of copy paper, activate that one more time, get that, don't waste that color, just start pulling it up on a piece of paper. Okay, so now I saw this idea and it was so cool. So I want to use this Swiss cheese background. So I'm going to come in with my saltwater taffy. I'm just going to do some ink blending. Right, so I like to get a nice and I'm going to come in from the side. If you come in from the side, you'll get a nicer blend. You won't get that big blob of, like a big circle of ink, right? So we're just little by little building this color from the outside in. I love this embossing folder. It's just got so much cool visual interest, right? So I'm coming into the very center quite light. I'm going to continue to build from the side. Look at that, so pretty. Now, let's do the same with abandoned coral. So we're gonna get a nice, deeper coral. Doing the same thing though. I like to use my finger as a little bit of a pressure for pulling up color. Now, let's come in from the side. Look at that. Just deepening that coral. Isn't it beautiful? But always coming in from the side so you get a nice, smooth application of color. So just lightly going over the center. Oh, I'm digging that. So let's set that aside and then let's continue to paint on this person. So I've got some peeled paint. Give that a spritz. Rinse our brush. And then let's start to fill in these leaves. Look at that, such a nice juxtaposition of color, isn't it? This peeled paint is like the perfect pairing with abandoned coral, I believe. So I'm gonna let that dry. And then I will start to deepen that. Oh, yikes, Renee. It's chilly at your house too, huh? I remember in the 1970s, I grew up in Michigan, where it is very cold. And I remember us wanting to turn the heat up. And my father saying, if President Carter is keeping his thermostat at 68, we can keep our thermostat at 68. Put on a sweater. And so we did. And I'm gonna do some of those dots. Remember we did those dots the other day? I'm just really liking the let's get a little bit more green going. I'm just really liking that little bit of texture, and I'm feeling like I want to go back and do some of that with the corals too. Now I want to deepen down here, get it nice and deep there, and do the same here. I'm going to dry it and then go back and do it again. I'm just all about the layers, 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 layers. Hi, Madeline. Is it Madeline? Madeline. Let me know. I want to say it correctly. And where are you watching from? I'm always curious about that. I am in sunny Peoria, Arizona. Let's turn that, see if we get a different. If a different angle helps us. I think it did. Okay, everybody take a drink. So I'm going to continue. Hey, Luann, how are you? We are painting on the peony from the Midwest is Best art printable that I did for the Midwest paper crafting shop hop. Today's the last day that the promo code Midwest is available. It is available until midnight tonight, and it is for a pretty decent discount. So on this art printable called Midwest is Best, you get 3 state flowers and 3 state greetings from each state that I hand lettered. Here we go. But as you can see, you can use the flowers by themselves, and the flowers are peony, apple blossom, and carnation. So pretty. So we're going to play around with that just a little bit more. I want to just keep deepening down here. I really want a nice nice transition of color. So I'm just going to keep applying some color and then drying it, and then applying color and drying it, so we have nice layers. I feel like I really want to start building up some form, so I'm going to take just a little bit of color on my brush and pull it up the sides of the leaves. And that always makes the leaves have a nice curl visually. Look at that. So beautiful. Okay. Let's do the same thing with this color. Just tap it onto a piece of copy paper. And like I said, we'll make some art out of that at a later date. So I'm gonna do the abandoned coral. I want to do those same dots. That just gives it a real painterly vibe, and I'm just kind of here for that. And I even like to do it right on the painted, the deeper parts, because it's going to be subtle but really cool. Here we go. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to dry in between. I just love when it dries because it lightens, so then it just kind of bleeds right into that base of color and just looks like it's just part of it. Do you know what I mean? I love that. Okay. Let's look that over. I feel like I want to work on deepening little by little. Like I'm barely touching. My substrate. I'm getting a really nice, just this subtle application of color. There we go, back, forth, back, forth. I'm gonna really emphasize that curve right there. Back, forth, back, forth. Hey Sue, good morning. How are you? I saw you and the girls gathered. Was that for Ruth's birthday, or were you just celebrating Ruth? I'm curious. Hi Renee T. Oh, that's a lot of water that time. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Oh, I love that. I'm so happy that you shared a picture, because it was so nice for me to see everybody's faces again, you know? That was awesome. That was awesome. All the way from Germany. Renate T. Renate T. Let's get a little bit of abandoned coral. Let's deepen these just a little bit, but I'm just putting like a drop of color on there. Nothing, I'm not trying to fill it or shade or anything like that. I just want that little bit of a contrast. And then, let's get this back in shape while it's still warm. And then let's fussy cut it. Oh, I have a little bit of color there that I need to. There we go. Okay, let's commence fussy cutting. So I'm going to go way wide around these. If I feel like I want to come in closer, I absolutely can later on. But let's get that first rough cut around all my bits and bobs. And you know, I like to have that little bit of a white edging when I fussy cut, because it just kind of, what do I want to say? It just provides like this little tiny bit of contrast. I don't know. There's something about it I just like. I feel like I'm going to come in a little bit closer on these little bits of foliage, or I don't know what they are. I don't know. I just drew them. All right. How are things in Germany this morning, my friend? Is it evening there? I bet it is. All right, I feel like I want this, like this one especially, I want to come in a little bit, not super close, but enough to have, yep, a separation kind of known. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So this one, let's just come in, do kind of a V. Okay, a little bit more V here. Okay, are you ready? Stop it. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it so much. I'm loving it. And hope you are too. That is just, stop it right now. So then I will dye this with a stitched rectangle so it has a nice finished edge, and then maybe I will mount it on a piece of white, so then that's going to make it pop. Then by leaving this little bit of white here, that white is going to, look at the difference. So there versus there. Do you see how the white pops even more? Just that little bit of a contrast. So we'll mount this on a white card base and then put a sentiment on there. So I'm not going to use any of the greetings from ones that I've hand drawn for this. I'm going to do it, excuse me, for, I'm going to use one of my other greetings so you can see that it's, the flowers are very versatile. Okay. So next I want to show you, look at this bouquet. Look at that bouquet. And can I tell you something? It all came out of my yard. I am just mad for it. Look at those zinnias and Gerber daisies and marigolds, all different varieties of of zinnias, my geraniums. These are, it's like a star something. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it just beautiful? I'm telling you, I'm just mad for them. Mad, mad, mad. And there's just, oh my gosh. And I got this little squat, like a mason jar, but it is quite squat. And it's this beautiful green. I don't know if you can see that. I'm afraid I'm going to spill water everywhere. It's just about this high, so it's just perfect for my little short-stemmed beauties. They make me so happy. Oh, I was going to say that if you are able, I shared a video that Whitney from Unity Stamps created with my brand new Pretty Posies background stamp. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She does 3 of the most unbelievable techniques with just one background. They're gorgeous. So be sure to check that out. And this stamp is currently on sale. Watch Unity's sales. They have tremendous sales. So take advantage of them while they're there. This one is for Whitney's birthday, I believe. So scoot on over to Unity to check that out. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, I know what we have to talk about. Well, remember on Thursday we're going to be doing some art journaling, and we're going to be using the flowers from the Midwest is Best art printable. But let's take a little moment to read from the comfort book, shall we? Okay, we did foundation, didn't we? Okay. Purple saxifrage. The hardiest plant in the world is the purple saxifrage. It has delicate-looking flowers with purple petals that seem as though they might blow away in the wind, yet it thrives in the Arctic. The flowers survive by clustering together low to the ground, offering each other shelter against the harshest conditions on Earth. That's a good one, isn't it? That's who we are. We are purple saxifrage. Okay, so let's paint. I think I want to do my, well, I think I might want to be painting both of these and use them both on a, hey Keely Bowley, on a art journal page on Thursday. So I'm going to start again with my saltwater taffy, but you choose, you pick whatever colors just speak to you. And let's just do a light watercolor wash over the entire carnation. You know what? I just love carnations. I have a friend who hates carnations, and you know what? I think they're the greatest. Number one, they're beautifully fragrant. Number two, they last forever. They hold their shape, they hold their scent. Number three, they're inexpensive. So you can get a bundle of carnations and have like weeks of flower enjoyment. Okay, let's dry in between this. So I'm going to do the same technique that I did on the peony. I'm going to do the same thing on this flower. Remember, if we find a technique and we really like it, do it and do it and do it and do it, right? Because then it just becomes part of your artsy arsenal of techniques. You'll draw on it. When you're looking at a new image that you want to add color to, you'll remember this technique, right? Keely, did you see my bouquet for my yard? It's so pretty. Look at it. Just look at it. Oh my golly. I'm telling you, those zinnias are a marvel. That's all I have to say. And so are marigolds. And so are Gerber daisies. Seriously, they're all so pretty to me. They just make me so happy. Okay, so let's come in with a little more spun sugar. And we're going to do the base, but just kind of jiggy-jaggy. We're not trying to be precise at all. Oh, Keels, I can't wait to see your zinnias. And you know what's so crazy is there are so many kinds of zinnias. There's so many varieties. That makes me so happy. Okay, let's get a little bit more going there. Then let's take our piece of copy paper that we're gathering all of our bits of color, right? And let's get that little bit of spun sugar up there. Let's let this dry, and then let's come in with some abandoned coral. Okay. And now let's start to deepen all the places we know are dark. The base of each petal is dark, right? We know where one petal lays on top of another, that underneath petal, though that edge is dark. And we're just going to start to build our form too, remember? We talked about start to pull that color up. But leave some, because we applied color in such a jiggy-jaggy way, we have bits and pieces of dark. We want to keep those as much as possible. Here we go. Little by little. Build up that nice contrast. And carnations are such a fun one to paint because they have all those frilly layers. All those petals have those frilly edges. Okay, let's give that a dry. Pretty. Okay, remember that this, keep doing this because we're going to use this in our art journal on Thursday. Let's just make it a deal. We're using it on Thursday. Now let's do the green. Let's just start with a watery wash. This is a pretty deep color though, I will say. So let's start pulling that color all the way down so that we start with our watery wash. And remember, it's okay if you overshoot it because we're going to be fussy cutting this anyway. So let's start to just dab, dab, dab with some more color in here. There we go. Oh my gosh. I've never heard of bridal wreath. Would you send me a picture, Keels? I'm dying to see that. I had a lilac bush under my bedroom window growing up in Michigan, and it was the greatest thing in the world because we'd have our windows open all summer long, you know. As soon as we could in the spring, all through, you know, till fall. And that lilac bush just filled our bedroom with such lovely fragrance. Okay, let's start deepening the green. Now I gotta look that up, Keely. Bridal wreath. So next week, there will not be a pop-in paint party on Tuesday. Instead, I will do one on Wednesday. I am traveling to Missouri to see my Desiree and Braxton, my great niece and nephew, and I can hardly wait to see them and hug them and kiss them. Okay, and now I'm just going to do those random dots of color. right? I'm gonna dry. And then we can build some more dots and more dots and more dots. I just love that spotty, painterly vibe. Oh, loving that. Let's do a little bit more. Let's do some dots on the darker spots. There we go. I want some dots that are barely, you can barely see, and some dots big blobs. I love that. It just gives it this cool painterly vibe. That's my brush. Tap off my color. Look at that, it's building, building, building. So pretty. Okay. Everybody take a drink. Okay. Now I'm coming back in with my abandoned coral because I want to do the dot thing on the petals of the carnation. And then come in here and just start to really randomly add some dots. And just get that painterly vibe going. Good morning, Linda McGee. How are you? Hi, Mary. How are you? Where are you watching from today? I am fantastic. Please, I'm painting a flower. Chatting with my artsy pals. What could be better than that? Not much, I say. So let's dry this layer of dibbity-dabbity dots. I know, but you'll do anything for your sweetheart. And I get that. If it says take to eat on with a full stomach, eat with a full stomach, or take that medicine with a full stomach. Because there's nothing grosser than that flavor in your mouth, is there? Of medicine? Ugh. And it won't go away. So can I tell you, I am just about loving this to the core. And I can hardly wait to art journal it with it on Thursday. Okay, let's get some of that color up. So on Thursday, you're going to want to bring I have drawn a butterfly. I have for Unity. So on Thursday, you're going to want to bring your painted whichever flower from the Midwest is Best art printable that you choose, and this paper, and then however you've chosen to paint your flower, if you've used watercolors or inks or whatever you've chosen, bring those and a stencil. And your other artsy arsenal, your pens and pencils and that kind of jazz. But those are the main things for sure. So don't forget, we did this one first. Can I tell you, I'm just about madly in love with this too. I am just feeling the peeled paint and abandoned coral and what is it? Saltwater taffy. I'm just feeling those colors this morning. I think I'm going to go on to paint the apple blossom in the same way. And then I'll have all kinds of things to play with. So I'm trying to think. It's called Your Butterfly Moment. The butterfly stamp that I drew for Unity, Sue. Here it is. It is great big, and it is, people have used it in so many different ways. Some people have cut it in half and used it on an A2. Some people have used it on a slimline, all kinds of ways. So, and it's super fun. Can I tell you, this is so fun to color because there's lots of spaces in between. So I have drawn that butterfly. But I could draw another. I'm just saying. I could certainly draw another. I've not drawn only one flower. But I do have a love relationship. Not even a love-hate. I have a love relationship with flowers. So I'm just going to jiggy-jaggy start with my saltwater taffy. Layer of color. And on that first one, I think I came in with abandoned coral and I did it wet on wet, didn't I? So I think I'm going to do that, a little bit of that right at the center. Because that's giving me a really cool inky blend. Okay. Now I gotta let that dry. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Good morning. start to come in with our dots. Little by little, build, build, build. Okay. Fill up that color. Dry this layer. And then we're just going to keep building, 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 building. It's the greatest, isn't it? Just those slow layers, I think, make such a huge difference. Let's get some green on there. It's so pretty. I am digging that. And I'm just going to keep going, going, going with my, put a layer on, deepen it, and then come in and do my dots, and then work on my form, building my form. And here's the thing, you can continue to do that. You can continue to build your form even after you have the dots, because you don't want the dots to be predominant. You just want the dots to be kind of a fun little visual interest. So let's start to deepen. You know what, that's so funny. When I drew the, so you know I've drawn embroidery patterns for Adorn It for all the states. And I drew mistletoe. I drew mistletoe on the state collage embroidery pattern, and I drew the state flower. There's a stitch club called the State Flower Stitch Club that I drew for Adorn It. And it has all 50 states and all of their filled with, each state outline is filled with its state flower. And for Oklahoma, I did mistletoe again because it's so pretty. But I have drawn the Oklahoma rose also for a store in Edmond called Paper Arts. Everybody take a drink. Oh my gosh, 1 hour is up already. Isn't that crazy? So, I hope that everybody is having themselves a time and you've started painting and getting ready for Thursday's art journal day. Paint whichever flower you want from the Midwest is Best art printable. Remember, today's the last day to use that promo code Midwest. And I think it might be the last day of the sale on Unity for the Pretty Posies background stamp. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I know when I checked this morning, it was still on sale. So be sure to check that out. Yes, it was, Renee. It was for the Oklahoma stamps that Susan carries. I drew all of those. I did. You know what? I'm also really, I'll tell you this one thing and then I'll let you go. I'm thinking I want to do some ribbon to match these flowers with that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know, but I'm just feeling that that abandoned coral and saltwater taffy, that might make a cool accessory. So I'll show you really quick what I did. So I'm just going to put some abandoned coral and some saltwater taffy. And I just have a length of vintage seam binding, white. And now I'm just going to, little by little, have it soak up that color. Spritz it. I like it crinkly, so I like to let it dry real scrunched up. And then when it dries, it's, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty because it's all crinkly and colors. But do you see how it has the same kind of effect that we were using when we painted the flowers? We have highs and lows of color, deep color and more delicate color. So I'm going to wad that up and I'm just going to leave it right here on my craft mat right there to dry, and it's going to dry and be crinkly and so cool. If you want it really, really crinkly, I take a Ziploc bag, like not a Ziploc bag, but a plastic sandwich bag, you know, that's, I mean, you could use like just saran wrap too, but you put it in the corner and you just twist and twist and twist till it's super tight so that it's, and then you just let it dry like that, real tight in plastic. And oh my gosh, the crinkles are beautiful. Anyway, just a little something extra to add to your cards today or your art journaling. You never know. It is a great way to use up excess ink. And can I tell you, I just love using color. I just cannot waste color. I adore everybody. Thank you so very much for hanging with me today. If you're watching this live, if you would hit the like button, that means a lot to me. If you would comment and like other people's comments and engage in conversation with everyone, I would love that so that we can keep talking throughout the day. And then if you are watching this on a replay, do the same. Please like the video, please comment and let me know that you watched it on the replay and what your thoughts are. And comment and like other people's comments too. That makes such a big difference. I adore you all. Thank you so much. And remember, tomorrow there will be a stitch along, and I will be stitching my state flowers. So Linda, look for me tomorrow morning on Stitch the States with Anne Corbiere-Scott. I adore you all. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.